We have just about got all of the flops out of the way for 2024, but there is one big release left on the schedule, and that is Dragon Age The Veilguard. And brother, we got some more bad news. And no, I'm not going to be showing you any trailers or gameplay. That stuff's already out there, and you can delve through the sewage at your own leisure. But we've got internal reports. We've got the people who are trying to spin this as some kind of sleeper success. But here's the thing when it comes to talking about Dragon Age The Veilguard. The more you dig for jewels, the more you find them. Not like a good sense, not in a way that the freaks wearing Bioware as a skin suit would want you to think. It's just they're telling on themselves big time, and this is going to be the game that ultimately and finally, mercifully, shuts this studio down. At least your load times are great. Oh God, Dragon Age The Veilguard director showed the game to EA's CEO, only to immediately get walloped right off in the edge and down into a pit and die. How apropos, how cosmically beautiful is that? Because A, you've got the game's director not able to play the game that you're trying to show off, and B, you've got a perfect analogy for how this game is going to perform upon release, because we got some more numbers and they ain't pleasant. In some capacity, Bioware has been working on Dragon Age The Veilguard, the soon-to-be fourth game in the fantasy RPG series, for nearly 10 years. Wow, 10 years! 10 years for the shit that we've seen. Are you kidding me? Now, recently, we've talked about, other games that have been in development for that long, and they haven't exactly lived up to expectations. Remember the little game called Concord earlier this year? Worked on for at least 8 years. Survived 2 weeks. Skull and Bones out of Ubisoft cost somewhere north of $500 million. Survived a couple of months. So we're doing a little bit better. Dragon Age The Veilguard, been in development for 10 years. It's been, 12 or 13 years by the time they closed the gap between Inquisition and The Veilguard. It's gone through rebranding. It used to be called, Dreadwolf or something like that. It's gone through several different hands. Hell, during that point in time, Bioware was a respected company. They released Anthem, and now they've been working on this woke trash. Fantastic. In active production, the developer has spent 200,000 hours playtesting the game's PC version, and it's still that bad. It is still that actually generic, and your director still can't do anything but barely play the game and get yeeted off the map. Good stuff. Dedicated an untold number of hours to recording 140,000 voice lines, and most of them is about, hey, do you want to rub genitalia together? Hey, do you want to tongue kiss that autistic-looking canary? Hey, take a look at my top surgery scars. That supposed to get excited about that? Yeah, I don't think so. And apparently, allotted a few more hours to an embarrassing meeting with the heads of publisher EA and a new IGN feature. Oh, of course, because they're the shills that are out there telling you, actually, this game is a rousing success, so you better shut your mouth, you bigot. Veilguard director, game director, Corinne Bush. Oh, the gender queer, or the trans dude pretending to be a chick who's calling themselves a gendermancer or something like that, about a 2023 meeting with EA president Laura Mealy and CEO Andrew Wilson. That meeting was a big deal for Bioware because, we're wondering, when are you going to put something out? It's been a minute, and we're EA. We kind of have a reputation of eating more projects in the womb than Planned Parenthood, so you better move this shit along. Yes, the meeting was a big deal for Bioware. The developer had just spent the last few years shifting Dragon Age The Veilguard, formerly known as Dragon Age 4, and then Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Yeah, there you go. From a multiplayer game to a straight-up single-player story goodness. Yeah, we've seen your story goodness, and you can keep it. Thanks. As project director Michael Gamble put it, Bush prepared for hours and hours before her demo with EA and then flubbed it that spectacularly. Go figure. I knew the contents. Oh, no, sorry. I need to get into character on this one. I know the context like the back of my hand, and everything was going so well. But of course, we get to the live demo with Andrew Wilson and Laura Mealy in the room, and as soon as I fight the Pride Demon... Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my... I actually didn't know that was coming up. Holy shit. You got the Pride Demon. Yeah. You wonder why people aren't excited to play your bullshit. I got walloped right off the edge and go down into a pit and die. Well, how appropriate. I'd imagine probably 42% of your encounters also end in a similar fashion. And there's a big reason that Zelda is outselling your game by a factor of 20 to 1. 20 to 1! Nobody wants to play your shit. This is absolutely crazy. Now, here's the thing. Zelda and the Echoes of Wisdom, that's already been released. I think it came out last week or the week before. I've seen some people with physical copies in hand, and I understand. It's not exactly a fair comparison. to make with a Switch exclusive game and physical pre-orders, because that's the one system that still has a reliable physical base, as opposed to a multi-plat game that isn't going to be on Switch and is mostly going to be distributed digitally. But it just goes to show you enthusiastic fan bases that are getting a little bit of a shift on their long established franchise model, because this is the first game, the first mainline Zelda game. Okay, those CDI games don't count. Okay, did you actually play as Zelda? Oh my god, it's woke, you play as a woman. Oh, where's those complaints? Oh, because it doesn't exist. Oh, yeah, interesting. But I haven't really heard anything. I haven't seen any gameplay or anything like that. I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's bad, but it's Zelda, and that shit is going to sell, as opposed to the Veilguard, which outside of mainstream outlets is shilling the game to hell and back. I haven't seen anybody actually excited to play the game. Any popular streamers out there going, you know what, I'm really excited to play Veilguard. I had a lot of fun with Origins and Inquisition and 2. While it was a little bit of a departure, it was fine. I haven't seen anybody actually set it on their schedule to dedicate time towards. Everybody's just passing by that shit, using the end of the year to just kind of clean up on games that they missed the first time around. So there's going to be a lot of people playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I couldn't be happier to see that. Anyways, Retail Insider shared the physical pre-orders for Zelda Echoes of Wisdom outsold a Dragon Age The Veilguard to 20-1. It was previously rumored that Echoes of Wisdom outsold Veilguard by about 4-1. And yeah, that came out from Stuttering Craig. Okay, we talked about that before. A retail source has since contacted that Park Place. It shared that while Echoes of Wisdom did around 4,400 sales in just 2 weeks, total of games pre-orders came closer to 20,000, which means the game sold nearly 20 times more than Dragon Age The Veilguard. Oof. That's just in the States. Yikes. Furthermore, the source shared that Zelda Echoes of Wisdom actually outsold after it was released, and Nintendo is very, very pleased with the game's sales and sees it as better than expected. Yeah, because it's got that, it's got a Link to the Past. What was the 3DS continuation? And I know that they did the remake of Link's Adventure on the Switch a few years back. Like, it has that top-down, more cartoony presentation, as opposed to, Breath of the Wild's more realistic take on things. Like, it looks like it's obviously a lower budget title. I don't mean that in a demeaning sense. Like, there's probably going to be, a fair few dozen hours into the game, as most Zelda adventures are. But it looks like, yeah, people are rewarding this. The information echoes UK sales charts. Okay, that saw the game came in second in its debut week behind, EA Sports FC. Okay, yeah, the old FIFA game. But in second in the UK behind football, yeah, that ain't bad at all. Nuh-huh. Games industry head, Christopher Dring, also commented, Echoes of Wisdom debuts number 2 physical sales charts. Launch sales are 14% lower than 2019's Link's Awakening remake. I suspect in reality it's pretty close sales-wise between the two. Yeah, exactly. I would imagine that's probably the case, because there was a much longer lead time from what I can remember in regards to the announcement of Link's Awakening. But Echoes of Wisdom, yeah, that just got announced during Summer Games Fest at like the beginning of June, so there was not enough time for people to even pre-order that bitch if they had the opportunity to. Yeah, I would imagine walk-up sales, and then especially holiday season sales, because that's going to be the big title for the Switch. And it will be, especially because, well, I'd imagine there's probably good word of mouth on this. Like, I have nothing to go on, other than every time Nintendo releases a game on their system from their IP repertoire, it ends up being the best-selling game in the series. Okay, for context, Nintendo reported their fiscal year ended March 2021 financial report that the 2019 game had lifetime sales of 5.49 million copies globally, and that's for a remake of an old Game Boy game. That's not bad. This right here, yeah, brand new and unique. Game sold over 500,000 copies in the first 3 days in just Japan and Europe. German website 4Player reported October 2019 that the game sold 430,000 copies, 72 hours in Europe, while Famitsu reported the game sold 141,375 physical copies in Japan. By December of 2019, Famitsu reported physical copies in Japan had reached 250,947 copies sold. And if we have any other bombs in the AAA space when it comes to their dalliance with identity politics and woke gameplay, I'm looking at you, Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws. They sold 1 million copies. 1 million copies so far. I just did a video on that one not that long ago. Go check that out if you want more context on that. Concord shipping, 25,000 copies. We have reason to believe that Veilguard is gonna be a disaster. Because they don't have a relevant IP to latch its name onto, like Suicide Squad kills the Justice League earlier this year, which is still a tremendous failure. It doesn't really have the reputation of a rockin' studio behind it. Everybody can kind of see the Bioware of today is not the Bioware of 10, 15 years ago. They aren't coming out of a hot, cool new publisher. They're coming out from EA, so they're fighting an uphill battle, and frankly, couldn't happen to a better game. It couldn't happen to a more inclusive and understanding developer. Well, for as much as you're hoping and praying the public's going to have that, I'm hoping and praying that the unemployment line is going to be as equally diverse and inclusive as you want your shit game to be. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.